Hi, I haven't seen you for a while, so I'm really glad you're joining me. We're getting ready for the holidays. It's coming into that season. So I want to do two really quick little videos for you. The first one is how to practice, and the second one is how to play Christmas songs with no music. So what I'd like to do is show you how to get some discipline in your practicing. A lot of hobbyists just sit down and play, but if you want to accomplish something that's a little more difficult and that's a challenge and that gives you a feeling that you've really moved forward, then you need to pick a song and you need to kind of dissect it to learn what makes it work. What it was the composer thinking when he wrote the song? What kind of rhythm and what kind of mood do you want to set? And especially, you know, the chord progressions. How do the chords work? And the more you do this, the easier it's going to be for you to understand the chords as you play or as you just do sight reading. So just sit back for a minute, and I'm going to put this PDF file up on our website, sacramentomusicgroup.com. And if you want to download the PDF file, it's also a page in my book called Every Workshop I've Ever Done. So if you have that book, it's page 1 in that book because I feel it's really important. And so let's just get started. Okay, I have one piece of paper on how to practice. Most people don't practice, and most of the kids that I teach nowadays don't practice either. But a good teacher will teach you how to break the music down and understand what's going on. The first thing I'd like to tell you is most of the popular music that you find is made up of sections. It's called musical form. Most songs have 32 measures. And if you don't know what a measure is, you definitely need to get my Everything You Need to Know to Play the Piano book. 32 bars or measures in a piece. And usually they're divided into 8-bar sections. So you have 4 8-bar sections. It's called A, which is the first 8 bars. A, which is the second 8 bars repeated. B, which is the bridge. The bridge is the part can't ever remember. And then A, which is that main theme repeated. So 8 bars of a theme, 8 bars of the theme repeated. It may be a little different ending on the second part. Bridge, which is the 8 bars of just the middle part. And then you have 8 bars of the melody repeated. So I'm just going to give you an example. Let's take the song 5'2", okay? So I'm just going to play and just listen. You don't need to, I'm not going to zoom in or anything, but listen to. That's the first 8 bars. Now the second 8 bars, same thing. Little different tag on the end, the bridge. Goes back to the A section again. And then you got your end, the last note. Okay, so can you hear how the song was divided? Now if you know that, the first thing you should do with every new piece that you have is sit down, play the melody, and you number the measures. Take a pencil to the piece of music and measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and usually you'll come out to 32. If you don't, then it doesn't really matter. But find the places where the theme stops and then is repeated. And sometimes you only have a chorus and a verse. So you may have 16 measures of a chorus or a verse and 16 measures of a chorus. So then you'll know that that's the theme, just A and B. So number the measures. Then find the pattern and mark the ends of each section with a red pencil. If you're playing on a keyboard, those would be the places that you might want to change your registrations. So if you're playing with a piano or you're playing with different instruments, then that would be the places where you'll make your changes. All right? And it's usually every 8 bars. Then you look at the chords. The chords that you're familiar with, you don't need to worry about. If they're in strange places, like in off beats or in, there's a lot of melody notes and you can't figure out where the chord goes, take out a highlighter pen and draw lines down so you can see where the chord changes are. If you're a beginner, highlight all your chord changes and just draw a line down to the note that needs to be played when the chord changes. Your eye will be drawn to the color and you won't miss the chord change. Okay? All right, study the progressions. Use the circle and write out on a chord worksheet. Now, I'll also put this up as a PDF file on sacramentomusicgroup.com. It's called Charting Chords. It is in my first aid chord kit. It's the very last page in the book, and I talk about how to set up a chord chart. This way you can see how the chords work and the common notes between the chords, so you're not jumping all over the keyboard. And then you can use the circle of chords to just kind of determine what was the composer thinking. Well, how did he figure out what chords followed what? And that circle also comes with the chord book. All right, then mark the accidentals or difficult passages. So while you're studying, accidentals were always kind of my nemesis when I was playing, like for choir in church, and accidentals just happen. And even the key signatures, when you get a lot of sharps or flats, trying to remember where they are. So there's nothing wrong with taking a pencil and just putting little sharp signs and flat signs and natural signs, or you can highlight, you can color them with a highlighter, and then it'll be easier for you to remember. Mark repeats and endings and codas. Before you start to play, you kind of have to know where to go. And nowadays they don't give you the song all written out like the old sheet music used to do. Now they put lots of repeats and endings and codas, and if you don't understand that, then you do need my Everything You Need to Know to Play the Piano or music book. Okay? So just knowing, the confidence that you have when you're playing, of knowing where to go and when to go there. All right, so that's when you're away from, you can do all that away from the keyboard. You don't even need to be at a keyboard. I know a lot of my friends who are musically, they're playing concerts and things, they practice on an airplane sometimes. So you can do a lot of work with a piece and not even be at the piano. So you can make your markings, you can study the song, and then when you sit down at the instrument, then you're a little more prepared. Now, and this says when you're at the organ, because when I did my classes, we used an organ, but it can be a piano or anything else. It can be a saxophone or a violin if you're working on a piece. Practice the chords in progression. So if you write the chords out on your chord chart, then you just want to sit and just play them and just kind of get comfortable with the progression of the chord. Practice the melody line, fingering. I'm not really an advocate of precise fingering because I have very little hands, and depending on your hands and what's comfortable for you, but you need to figure that out for what works for you. Most pieces that are harder and that are in not the easy playbooks, but they have some suggestions, and it's always probably a good thing to follow the suggestions. They're there for a reason. They will make your music playing a lot more comfortable to have enough fingers to get to where you have to go. That's kind of my rule. Work on dynamics. Does it sound good with rhythms? Do you want to use drums? Do you want to be creative with the drums and use something other than what they tell you or suggest that you can do? Okay, then put the song together. And after I did that, I put in parentheses, slowly. It doesn't seem like, especially when I teach children, to get them to slow down is very difficult. So don't just jump right in. Slow down, learn the song slowly, and then speed it up. All right, and then work out and mark registration changes if you're playing on a keyboard. Or if you're playing on a piano, you can work on changing your left hand style. You might want to play, running chords on part of the song and then change the style. And then the last one, it says cop and attitude. After you're done, then the rest is kind of up to you. And if someone says, whoa, I never heard that song played that way before, well, that's a good thing. It's an attitude that comes from you. So if the song sounds good to you, it's right. Then necessary materials. This is kind of important, and I think when you don't have a teacher, and I'm finding from emails and the things that the notes and messages that I get from people all over the world, actually, most of you are telling me you don't have a teacher locally, or someone close, or a store you could go to, or you don't have time. Then here's how I want you to prepare your notebook for practicing. Number one, buy a 3-ring binder. All right, in that 3-ring binder, you should have 5 dividers. They should be labeled exercises, practice pieces, no more than 2 in that section, easy pieces, forget it, and registrations. All right, if the exercises, there's some in my book on how to play the piano. There's exercises in this chord book, definitely. And there's lots of exercise books you can buy online. You can just go to sheetmusic.com, halleonard.com. There's all kinds of places. Sheet Music Plus is a great website to buy books. Or go to your local music store. They really need to be supported also. And then you can actually look at the book. Okay? Practice pieces. I think it's really important that you don't get a whole stack of books. If you're working on a song, buy your book and then copy the song out of it that you want to learn and put it in that binder. You can write on it, you can do all kinds of, make all kinds of remarks and things as you're practicing and not really mess up your book. So I usually am working on 2, maybe 3 pieces at a time that I want to accomplish. Okay? Then easy pieces. When you're done with section 2, the practice pieces, it should go into the easy pieces. So when your friends come over and someone says, play for me, you have a specific place to go and you can find the pieces that you've learned and that you feel confident in playing. And hopefully over the year, that section should get fatter and fatter and fatter, and you'll find at the end of the year, you have a great way to measure your progress. Then number 4 is forget it. Sometimes you'll pick a piece and you'll put it in that practice section and it just is not working. You're either not proficient enough yet to play it, or it just doesn't move you. So get rid of it. Put it in the forget it section and leave it there. Every 3-4 months, I go through that forget it section and I go, wow, why did I put that there? Either my mood changed, which is pretty normal, or I've actually gotten better at playing and this piece that was hard for me 6 months ago is easier now. So it's a great meter to check your progress. And the last one is registrations. If you're playing on an organ or a keyboard, write down all your favorite registrations, the rhythms that you liked with the songs that you played. And if you go to workshops at your local dealer, and keep all your information in there. All right? In that binder, you should have a little, remember in school you had a little pen holder thing, plastic in your binder? Put the highlighter, pen, and pencil in there so you'll always have it while you're practicing. All right, and then I always had a disc holder because I like to play with software and discs. But anyway, that's how to practice. When you download the PDF, all the information I just gave you will be on that page. It's also located in my book, every workshop I've ever done. So if you already have that book, then just go to page 1 and it'll be there. And then the other PDF I'll put up with this video is charting chords. So you can see how I wrote the chords. Just take the chords from the song, write them in there, and if you don't know the chords, then you probably need my first aid chord kit book. to learn the chords and how they work. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. I hope you enjoyed our little session, how to practice. If you do these steps, it will make such a difference in everything that you do with your music. It'll give you more confidence, and you'll learn how to just get the sense of accomplishment. The books that I have that will help you, if you go to our website, sacramentomusicgroup.com, I recommend 2 books for this session. One is Everything You Need to Know to Play the Piano, and it has also a set of DVDs that you can purchase. Also, the book First Aid Chord Kit. I think everyone should have this book, and it comes with 2 DVDs. I did them to go with our classes that we did in our group sessions, so they're different than the ones that you'll find on YouTube. So sacramentomusicgroup.com is where you can find them. Also, you can friend us on Facebook, Karen Ramirez, and we have a page there that you can put comments on. I think I would kind of like people to start posting pictures of them playing, so we can see what you've accomplished. So don't be afraid to add something, or to make a comment, or send us a message or a video, and then we can watch what you're doing. It would make me kind of happy to see you play.